Picture this: you're scrolling through Instagram, and you see what looks like a perfect lifestyle post. Beautiful cookies, artisanal lighting, that trademark effortless vibe. But then you look closer, and there's a worm crawling across the food. No, I'm not making this up. This actually happened to Meghan Markle, and the internet had thoughts. What's up, everyone? Today we're diving into one of the most bizarre celebrity food fails I've ever seen. Trust me, you're going to want to stick around for this one because it gets wild. So Meghan Markle, Duchess turned lifestyle influencer, decided to bless her Instagram followers with some homemade content. We're talking perfectly curated shots of what she claimed were shortbread cookies. You know the aesthetic: rustic wooden boards, mismatched vintage mugs, that golden hour lighting that screams, "I'm just naturally this put together." But here's where things get interesting. These weren't your grandmother's shortbread cookies. In fact, calling them shortbread is like calling a hamburger a steak. Technically they are both food, but that's where the similarities end. These looked more like, well, let's just say they had a very earthy vibe going on. And speaking of earthy, get this, right there in her carefully crafted Instagram story, clear as day, you can see an inchworm making what can only be described as a desperate escape attempt from one of these so-called cookies. I'm talking full-on prison break mode. This little guy was not having it. The timing is almost comedic. There's Meghan, dipping her cookie into her tea bag still in, by the way, which is its own conversation, taking a bite, completely oblivious to the fact that her artisanal baked goods have become a wildlife sanctuary. Now, here's what's fascinating about this whole situation. Meghan's entire brand is built on attention to detail, right? The perfectly imperfect lifestyle, the curated authenticity, the "I just threw this together but it happens to look magazine-ready" aesthetic. But somehow, a very visible, very much alive inchworm made it through quality control and into the final post. Either she didn't notice, which raises questions about that famous attention to detail, or she did notice and thought, you know what? This is rustic. This is authentic. My followers will eat this up. Pun intended. Let's talk about where this little visitor might have come from. Two theories here. Theory 1, the decorative flowers. You know those picture-perfect edible flowers that lifestyle influencers love to sprinkle on everything? Yeah, those sometimes come with tenants. If you're not washing them properly, and let's be honest, washing flowers for Instagram photos isn't exactly intuitive, you might get some unexpected protein with your pastry. Theory 2, the cookies themselves. And honestly, this is the more concerning option. If the worm was already eyeing the cookie mixture, we're talking about a whole different level of kitchen hygiene issues. As you can imagine, the internet had feelings about this. And by feelings, I mean they absolutely lost their minds. Some people tried to be diplomatic. Oh, it's just a little extra protein. At least we know it's organic. These are the people who see the glass half full when it's clearly leaking everywhere.